So I think the reason that we create these workshops and we need to create these spaces with boys is pretty well known. I think the stats are out there. You know, 1 in 8 Australian men will experience anxiety at any one time. 1 in 5 Australian men will experience depression at any one time. And if you go to the extreme, still the leading cause of death for guys, 15 to 44, is ourselves, you know, taking our own lives. And so you've got to ask yourself questions about that. Are we providing enough? Are we providing an environment for our young men to be able to express themselves before it gets, you know, into an unhealthy stage? And we talk a lot, you know, about sport, you know, and it's completely accepted and applauded for guys to work their emotional muscle, their physical muscle. It's completely applauded for young guys to work their physical muscle, and with the knowledge that they're going to win at sport. You know, if they're really fit and they're really able, then they're going to win at sport. And if they exert themselves, then they'll be able to make it through the adversities that'll face themselves on the pitch. But what about the pitch of life? You know, they're going to experience emotional adversity. It's a guarantee. Life goes up and down. We're all a part of it. Are we providing environments for our young guys to exercise their emotional muscle, and at times under duress, you know, to have really intensive emotional experiences of what it feels like to, you know, emote and, you know, maybe shed a tear in front of your mates if you're talking that honestly. And so it's important that those environments are created for our young guys and that they're given the space to wade through their emotional life. And sometimes that's a bit awkward and sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable. But it's important, and I think we're all waking up to that. And I think some schools, like, you know, TSS is one of them, that are really kind of backing it in and saying this is something that we actually want to do something about as opposed to talk about. And I feel like that's evident in the fact that, you know, the teachers, you know, from the principal down to the heads of house, you know, they've all taken part in this workshop this morning, you know. And that's incredibly important, because it's easy for us in roles of authority, whether it's men or women, saying, you know, our young guys need to be comfortable with their emotion. They need to be able to talk to us if they've got a problem, and they need to be able to help each other out, you know, hold space for each other. But if their role models aren't doing that, it's a really tough pill to swallow. Any student will say to you, oh, the teacher tells me to do this, but I know for a fact they don't do it in their own life. Well, they're unlikely to take that lead. Whereas if they can see, geez, the guys that are kind of guiding these spaces for us and leading these spaces for us and are the kind of authority in the school, if they're wading through this, you know, awkward emotional territory in order to build their emotional muscles, well, you know, I'm willing to give it a crack. It's not like everything the teachers do they're going to love and they're going to idolise, but it's important that the men that hold space for them are willing and capable to enter their own vulnerability if we expect the young guys to become friendly with theirs. And I think in saying that, it's really important to be clear that this is not about making vulnerability the only tool that our young men have. Healthy stoicism is great, and we want them to be able to know their emotions well enough to be able to push their emotions down with choice at the right time. But we need equally for them to have the ability to express their emotion and their vulnerability with choice at the right time for the healthiest outcome, so that they can live sustainable, healthy lives as adults, and hopefully give the next generation, you know, a good chance of changing some of those stats. So Tomorrow Man is an organisation that runs workshops with young and old men, you know, right through from guys in high school to sporting clubs and player associations. We create environments for young guys to exercise their emotional muscles, and to look at the stereotype that we've been handed down, have the chance to break that down and rewrite the rules that'll keep us as young and older men healthy, you know, and especially the people that we impact, our families as well.